Hi, this is Scott with Rendell Certified Cleaning Services. I'm going to show you another inspection that we do on rugs. The first one I showed you was a hand knotted silk rug. Now we have down here two different types of rugs, and again we're going to look at the overall condition. Let's take a look at this one on the left. I can definitely see that there's a big dark mark that runs along sort of in a scalloped pattern that stops right about here. And then there's another area that's darker than the rest of it around this, than the rest of the pile around there. What I surmise from looking at a rug like this is that this is a traffic area and the fibers are actually worn down in the areas that are walked on it, as opposed to an area like this that probably has a table or a chair on it and it's not walked on. So overall condition of this pile tells me that there's certainly some wear issues. The next thing I'm going to look at is the face fibers themselves. And I'm just looking for any missing fibers. Again, I've noted that there's definitely a traffic pattern here. I'm looking for bled or bleeding dyes that are bleeding into each other. I don't see that. I'm looking for ink spots or anything unusual, big spills. There is some, I'm not sure if, yeah, that's just a little divot right there, so that's not too bad, but it's missing a couple of fibers right here. Next I'm going to flip the rug over and look at the foundation. And again, I'm checking to see if there's any unusual issues with it, any spills through the back side of it, or any missing fibers. I'm looking along the border, the edge itself, this area here, the serging, to see if it's been split or pulled out. And that looks pretty good. This side has a little bit of splitting here where it's missing some of the serging. And next I'm going to look at the fringe itself. What I'm going to do is groom this fringe out so I can see the length. So down here it looks like it's missing a few of the cotton fringes. They're unraveled over in this area and kind of frayed throughout. There's some fraying on this one. It's just an older rug, and rugs that have been used, which they're supposed to be walked on, will have some fraying along the edge. Take a look at this side. Also fraying, especially around here, less so in the center, so that kind of corresponds with our traffic pattern on the opposite side. But this side's walked on. If you remember, I flipped the rug straight over and our traffic pattern was sort of like in this shape. So this side's probably not walked on very much compared to this side. I'm also looking to see if it's squared up, see if the fringe down here is straight or if it's jagged, as if it's been cut or pulled into a vacuum before we start. We don't use a vacuum with a beater bar to pull the fringe into it, so we want to make sure that that's not a pre-existing condition. Alright, that looks good. A little bit uneven in the center, but it's not unusual, just some wear. Okay, and that's how we do an inspection on this. Now we want to know if whether it's handmade or machine made, and the way to find out is by looking closely at the pattern of the foundation itself. Do these white lines look very even, or are they uneven? And I'd say overall they look pretty good, but there is some unevenness. Look at this white line right here. and it stops right here and starts off with another color. So it's in the field of pink, but it's a white line that goes all the way to the edge, and it's not consistent. It's just here and there, which tells me this is a handmade rug. We're going to look at another rug over here, and this is also a wool pile. Remember earlier I showed you how to do a test on the fibers to find out what the fibers are made of. This one we've already done, it's a wool. And we're going to again look at the overall condition. There is some pulling of fibers here. You can see that this fiber is actually longer than the rest. And I'm not seeing any other areas where there's a big distortion or problems with pulled out fibers. Here's some other ones here that are shorter. Okay, let's take a look at the pile itself. This one does not seem to have any reverse piling on it, which would indicate wear. There's a little bit of difference here, but not a ton. Just a very small difference, and that will probably grew them out after our cleaning anyways. Next we're going to look at, while I've got it on this side, I'm going to go ahead and look at the fringe. And let's cut it right there.